nouns, verbs. These are functional words. So they have function based on what they do when we speak and sign. So adjectives, as I said before, adjectives are words used to describe another part of speech that we are familiar with before, which are nouns. So we need to link, anytime we are talking about adjectives, we linking it to a noun. Or we can link it also to a pronoun. So we linking adjectives to remember that nouns are names. Pronouns, and you'll see in the word pronouns, it have nouns at the end. So a pronoun, so you see in pro, then the noun, are words used to replace a noun. Example, words like it, she, he. These are pronouns. So last week, what I did with you last week is that I give you pictures of nouns. We had different pictures of nouns, and what I asked you to do is to look at the pictures, and from the pictures you will select adjectives, right? And adjectives, our English person will be using adjectives. It's like they use the adjectives to paint a picture, but it's not a physical picture, it's a picture in a mind, so that when you speak on about something, someone could imagine it. They could paint a picture. Okay, so adjectives are used, the function of adjectives are to make pictures to describe nouns, or make a picture of a noun. We would use the word describe, DESCRIBE. So in English we say describe the noun or pronoun. So adjectives describe, and I'm writing the word describe, DESCRIBE. They describe or create a picture or make a picture or make pictures that help us to make a picture in our mind as to what we are talking about. In sign language, what do we do in sign language? So in English, we do use the adjectives to make the picture. In sign language, and I will go to the next slide. So we have English. I'm just putting it, I'm just kind of comparing English. And I say sign language, S for sign, L for language. I like a better line than this, so I'm going to just draw over my line. So in English, we use the adjectives. Basically, that is what we do. We use adjectives to paint, to talk about the noun and the pronoun. But what do we do in sign language? And sometimes we get confused because yes, sign language will use adjectives, but that's not the main thing. A person who signs, what you will do, you'll use adjectives, but you'll use a lot of, and you call it, to me, drama. You use a lot of drama, and you use your body, you use your hands, your face, everything about you to create a picture of what you're talking about. So you don't depend on words. You don't depend on words to tell someone what you are describing or talking about, whether it is a noun or the pronoun. In English, words are being used. Yes, we will have a different facial expression and so on, but we depend, English speakers and a lot of people who speak orally, they use a lot of words to describe things around them. Noun, but sometimes some of the words that you use to describe the noun, you will use movement, and those movements in English are not really adjectives. So for my home lesson, when some people send information, when I give them a picture of, I give you a picture of a shoe. I give you a picture of a shoe. So I'm just drawing a pair of shoes. So I'll give you a picture of a shoe, and in your shoes, you have to select an adjective to describe the shoe. And this particular shoe is such a nice pair of shoes that you said, I will be going to church with this shoe. So what you're going to use this shoe for, you are describing based on you going to church with it. So you are dramatizing for someone that this shoe is a special shoe to you, and you will put it on and dress up nice to go to church. So you will dramatize that. Church is, so if you say that you're going to church with the shoe, so this word church, I'm just going to say this word church, you are thinking about this word as an adjective in the context of how we used it last week. But in terms of you describing this shoe as is one to go to church with, how you use it in sign language will be different how it will be used in English. So yes, in English, yes, you know that you are going to church with a shoe. And we say it when we are English speakers, we'll say it. Right? So in English, how we will say this is that we'll say this is a church shoe. And the word church in itself is, we are changing the meaning of this word, because church is a building, is a place, is a noun. We are changing this meaning in English to mean an adjective. But if we're changing this word to mean an adjective, we have to know where to put it. So people who speak English and we hear how we speak, we understand what we say when we speak words together. So when we use this word church for an adjective, we'll say church shoes. Right? And in sign language, you are going to dramatize that you put on the shoe and you're going to church. So you dramatize that. But the order of the words you're going to use when you're talking about the shoe is by saying church shoes. You're not going to say shoes, you know, like if you're saying a color, the color of the shoe. If you say the color of the shoe is black, you know, we have, I don't want to draw it. Or we could say if it's blue, because I have blue, I've drawn it in, excuse me. All right? You can say, if the, in terms of the shoe, say if it's blue, it's a blue shoes. Okay? We say in the shoes is blue, because I draw it blue already, right? So it's a blue shoes. I can't color it as how you will color it, and so on. So it's a blue shoe. So we say the shoe is blue. That is what we'll say because we know blue is an adjective. This word blue is an adjective, and I'm underlining to describe the color of the shoe. But we take the shoe to go to church. We cannot say that shoe is church. We cannot say that shoe is church. Although we can use the word church to describe the shoe, what we're going to say, the shoe, in English, this is how we're going to say, we had to put church and then shoes, church shoes. And instead of saying the word the shoe again, what I can say is, because I'm going to use a pronoun, I'm going to say it, which is really the shoe I'm talking about, is a, and the order of the words when I want to use the word church, I will say it is a church shoe. It is a church shoe, meaning that the shoe that I have, I go to church with. So that is how I am going to describe my shoe. I cannot say the shoe is church, because normally that word church is not an adjective. It becomes the adjectives as I put it in front of the word here. So if in deaf language, if I write the shoe is, and I put the word church, if I write the shoe is church, it will not be correct. To make this correct, the shoe is a, I have to put a, the shoe is a church shoe. So let me fix that again. So I cannot say the shoe is church. If I say the shoe is church, this is wrong. I cannot say the shoe is church. I have to say the shoe, and I'm going to write it underneath here, the shoe is a church shoe. So I have to say church shoe. I cannot just put church by itself. Because if I say the shoe is church, church by itself will tell me church is a noun. So the shoe cannot be a church. So if I say the shoe is church, I'm telling everybody that the shoe is a church. That I will go in the shoe and I'll pray and read my Bible in the shoe. And that is not really what you want to say. So you have to say the shoe is a church shoe. Okay, so those people who were selecting the adjectives, very good, Sabriki. So those person who were selecting the adjective for shoe, you have to be careful how you use it when you use certain words. Okay, so this is the difference between the sign language and English. Sign language, we dramatize what we do in terms of understanding. We use drama. And in using drama, you will use nouns, you'll use verbs, You'll use all the words that we normally use in English, but you'll use it in a different way. You will create your own picture by drama. But in English, there are certain rules that we have to follow in English. In English, we have to follow certain rules to make it create the picture. We don't dramatize. So we use English. We use English words to create the picture. So that is the difference. All right. So apart from adjectives, and there are other kinds of words we could use to create pictures, but that is not for this level. We're just focusing on the adjectives. Okay, everybody understand me? Everybody good with what I said? And I hope I explained. I think either Rebecca, Sabriki, and some others who were getting some issues with it. Okay, Rebecca, I hope you understand it. I said I wanted to explain it in the class, so this is my explanation. So today we're going to continue to select adjectives. Anybody have any questions for me? Anybody have a question for me? Want me to explain anything again? I'm looking at your faces. Rebecca, you have any questions? Yes, you have a question for me? I'm looking for questions. Anybody have a question for me? Donna, any questions? All right. Rebecca, go ahead and sign again for me. Trying to see you. The shirt shoe is new. Yes, the church shoe is new. Yes, so new is an adjective also. So I can say that the church shoe, because the church shoe is new. So I have two adjectives there. I have the adjective church describing what I'm going to use the shoe for. It is a church shoe. And I also have new. So both of them you use excellent. So you use two adjectives in that sentence to describe the shoe. So I can picture that shoe being used to go to church. And not only it's used to go to church, but it is new. Okay, so that was very good, Sabriki. I really I've seen that you're understanding what is going on. All right, anybody else have a question for me? Anybody else? Okay, so let's move on. I hope everybody copy what I have on the board and the explanation, right? So the correct thing was this here. That was the correct one. The shoe is a church shoe. So what was missing in here is the word shoe. Okay. All right. So let's move on. And what we're going to be, yes, Sabriki. Sabriki, you have a question? I see your hands up, waving. If I begin the what? Sign again for me. I say, begin the verb. I'm looking at the verb. Okay, just sign it over for me again. I'm not seeing you very. All right, the verb. The noun, right, plus the verb plus the adjective. Right, good. Yes, that is. Okay, so in terms of the why I say the church shoe. So we have this. Thank you very much, Sabikri. We have this is the order of this the words in the sentence. You have noun plus verb plus adjective. Right. So we have the sentence now. Now remember, we always use the word, we're using the, right? We remember when we use how to use the, right? So I can say the shoe here related to this noun here, right? The is pointing to the shoe. The shoe is, put a different color. I'm adding is a verb. Then I'm adding the adjective new. That is the adjective. So I have the shoe, which is a noun. The verb is, and new is the adjective. That is a sentence. The shoe is new. Now, Rebecca, she wanted to use the word church. So she added something to our order of words. She gave me another way of writing. Now, this is just one way of writing a sentence. This is one way of writing a sentence. So how Rebecca wrote hers and how I guided her to use the word church, because I wanted to show how to use church. So if we write the church shoe. So that is the difference. The church shoe. Instead of she writing the shoe, she write the church shoe. So what she did is, and this is another level of sentences, another type of sentence further on, because I could have gone into this other one also, but I selected the simplest one. This is a simple sentence. This is the simple sentence. This is a simple one. All right, I'm trying to write sentence. Simple sentence. This is a simple sentence, and that is fine. There's another way I could write this sentence. I can say the church shoe is, but I have to talk about something. When I put that word is, I must put something about that. That is a telling verb, so I must tell you something about this church shoe. So I can say this church shoe is new. So the order of words that I use in the sentence, this order, and I'm underlining it here, just as a one for this order here. I have the church shoe. So what I'm saying is, I'm using an adjective and I'm using a noun. So I'm adjective, it will be an adjective plus a noun. Then I went and write a verb. And then I put another adjective. This is just adding words to your sentence, and these are just another way of writing it. This is another way. So I could put more than one adjective in a different place in my sentence. So this is another one, but it is a more complex one than the simple one, because I put an adjective in front of noun. So an adjective could go in different places in your sentence. So this is another place an adjective can go. An adjective could go before a noun. So this here is where the adjective went before the noun, because this is before the noun. Adjective went before the noun. So this is a noun here. The adjective went before the noun, so it went first. And then another way, I can have an adjective here again at the end of my sentence. So my adjective went after the noun. So I can write my adjective in two places. So my adjective can be placed before a noun. I can write adjectives before a noun, and I can write adjectives after a noun. So if let's look at that. Writing adjectives before a noun. Where to put the adjective? So we have adjectives. I'm going to put one example. It is a rule. Adjectives before a noun. So adjective before a noun. And I'm showing you this because this came up and it is very important. So I have a noun. So I'm coming back with a shoe. I could put new shoes, new, and then shoes. Remember in the last sentence, I put the new at the end, after. So I can say new shoes. And let me write it over again because I want you to see this. I can say the, because the is pointing, the new shoes. So I am putting the adjective before I put the noun. So this here is the adjective, ADJ, adjective for short. And this here is the noun. So I can say the new shoes. That is one way of placing the adjective. The adjective is before the noun. So I write the adjective first and then I write the noun. That is one way of place to put the adjective. So in terms of the word order, this is one way of putting it. So before the noun. And then in terms of the other one that I have, if you're putting the adjective after the noun, so I'm putting the other rule. And I just put a number, but I put number 1. And then I put number 2. Now the first one, the new shoes, that is not a sentence. The new shoes is not a sentence. In order for me to finish that sentence, I have to add some more words. I have to put my verb. So I'll say the new shoes is, but anytime I put a word is, I must tell something about it. The new shoes is, I could put an adjective if I want. I could also put a noun. I can say the new shoes is wet. Wet is an adjective to describe my new shoes. And I could even change that, right? And put it in another thing. So this is this word here is an adjective also. So this one here I can put where the adjective after the noun. All right, and I want to take out this adjective here. I don't have to use an adjective. I can say the new shoes is on the floor. That's another part of speech. I just want to use that. Or I can say but let us leave the adjective for now. The new shoes is wet. But I can even write something again. All right. All right. And we want to make sure we follow the in terms of the verb must agree with the shoes. And you know when we're talking about shoes, although it is one pair of shoes, and then we have to say that one pair, right, to make it to put the is here, but that is what the context I'm going to use. But I'm going to put the word are because we have es at the end of shoes. So the new shoes are wet. So let's go to the next rule. So the next rule now rule number 2, where we're looking at the adjectives being after the noun. So adjectives after the noun. Before I go to after the noun, and let me do some more before, because I don't want you to get confused. So let me use another one. Let me give you some more examples, right? So let's go do some more examples with the before. So let's do another one before I go into the next rule. All right. So we can say the beautiful island, and you all give me that. The beautiful island. Where we talking about? We could say the island is beautiful, or we could say the beautiful island. And again, beautiful is the adjective. Island is the noun. But if I put the beautiful island, this sentence is not complete. I must have my verb. I must put in a verb, which is a, or and to tell me something. The beautiful island is, the beautiful island is, and I need to say what it is. Trinidad. And Trinidad is not an adjective. Trinidad is the name of a place. It is a noun. So I could have, see in the first one, I use an adjective at the end. This here is an adjective. But at the end of this sentence here, I use a noun. So I say the beautiful island is Trinidad. But look at the beginning of my sentence. I use the adjective comes before the noun. So I just using the adjective before the noun. But afterwards, in order to complete my sentence, I must have a verb. If I don't have a verb, my sentence is not complete. I have to use is, I have to use are. And in sign language, we don't use those words. We just say, beautiful island, Trinidad. Or Trinidad, beautiful island. We sign that. We take out the, we take out the is. Right? But in English, there must be a word order. So I can put adjectives before the noun, island. Or I can put an adjective before the noun, shoes. It is correct. So English language, there's not one way of doing something. There are more than one ways. But you need to know them bit by bit. So that's why we're building it up from level 1 to level 2. So that we're adding. So I did not show this to the first level 1 class. I didn't show them both ways. I showed them one way. All right. So because you all wrote that way, because you are familiar with using it certain ways, you confuse, you know, which one is the right way. But both ways are the correct way. But the one that I showed you before with the church, the word church, because church by itself is a noun, how you use it in the second rule that I was going to do, you can't use it that way. And I just want you to give me 5 more minutes, if you don't mind. I just want to show you the second rule where I told you to do for me. So rule, and I'm putting it on a different slide. All right. Let me give you some practice before because I did give you that rule in the last class. So let's do some practice. Okay, so let's go some practice. So I will give you, I'm going to give you a group of, I'm going to give you a group of adjectives. Let me just draw a circle. All right, so let me give you a group of adjectives. And but to give you, I can't hear you. All right. So let me give you a noun, and from the noun, because that is where some of you all had some problems, from the noun we are going to pull out the adjective. So I'm just trying to do some art, some drawing here. So I am drawing a house. All right. So, right. So I have a house there. And we want to pull out some adjectives to describe this house. Okay? You want to pull out, you're just pulling out. So the noun that we have is house. Okay? So the noun is house. And we want to pull out adjectives. So we can look at color. So we just imagine the color of this house is white. So white is telling me the color of the house. All right. Then we can look at the size of this house. We want to look at the size of this house. And the size of this house, we say in this house small. So we use small. So this house is a small house. We're looking at a small. Okay. And we may look at this house again and we may say this house is old. That's an old house. All right. And somebody may say this house, they is not ready mine as yet. It is I got it, I'm paying for it, but I'm paying it for it through HDC. All right. So HDC, huh? All right. So HDC is the original owner. I'm paying for this house. So I had to pay when every month end I'm going and pay them some money to at the end of a certain amount of years to own this house. So I want to write sentences about this house. So my sentences now. So we're going number 1. And we're looking at the rule that we learned before, and I'm just going back. Adjectives come before the noun. Adjectives come before the noun. So the noun is house. So I'm going to put, and I'm using the word the, because we are using the, as I told you, to point at a specific noun. So we say the, and then we put in the adjective. The old, and I just need my space here, house. But this is not the end of the sentence. The old house is, but I have to say something about this old house. The old house is, I can use, the old house is, I could use an adjective if I want. I can say the old house is white. So I use an adjective after, I can use an adjective before. So this is my adjective. So I choose to use, and because of the size of my drawing, the space I have available to write my sentence. So this is my adjective here. And after the adjective, I put the noun. So this is the noun. I write an N for noun. Right? So this is a noun. And at the end of my sentence, after I put my verb is, then I put another adjective. So I put another adjective, which is white. So here I'm putting an adjective before the noun and after the noun. But to put it after the noun, I need to put my verb first. Okay, so the whole house is white. Excuse how the... Right. And I have a student in my class, apart physical. I have a student physically in my class here who is giving me sentences also. All right, dressed in black and a gray sleeve. Right, so I can write another sentence about my house. I can say and I can put even, and let me just stay with one adjective, right? So let me say, so we have the whole house is white. I could even say the white, and I'm using the word white before the noun, the white house. All right, the white house. I can say the white house is all. And look at how I change it up. So I can put all before the house, or I can put all after the house. So I have the white house is all, and then I can say the whole house is white. Both, no matter where I put an adjective, it doesn't matter. Before, after, because white by itself is an adjective. I see the word white anywhere, I know it is an adjective. All is an adjective. You see how I can change it around? The only reason why I can change it around is because by itself, these words, when I read them, they are adjectives. But there are some words, as I told you before, like the word church. When you see church by itself without any words around, you just have the word church written on the board. Church is known to be a noun. So we cannot change it and put it before and after and so on like that. We cannot put it before a noun or after a noun, because if we do that, we're going to confuse the person who is reading your English. So because church is usually known to be a noun, you cannot put it, you cannot change it up like that, how I change up all and white. Okay? And then we have HDC. HDC, anybody seeing this HDC know that HDC is the name of a place. So HDC, and I'm just putting it in green. I hope you can see my green. That word is, when I see that by itself, when I see that word by itself, that initial, because this means a place. That is a short way of writing the name of a place. Housing Development Company. That is H. H for housing, D for development, C company. So that word, when I see it, I know it is a place. So I can say the house is HDC. So I cannot say, I'm just rubbing off my road here. I cannot say the house is HDC. In sign language, I could dramatize that, but if I write that in English, it is wrong. If I write that in English, it is wrong. All I have to write it is, the house is an, and we'll say an, because and how you see it, HDC house. So I have to put the word house after HDC. I cannot just write HDC, just as I could not write church. The house is church. Because in this house, maybe people go to church in this house. What it is used for. But I cannot say the house is church, because church by itself is not an adjective. I can't say the house is HDC, because HDC is a name of is a noun, name of a place. Okay? HDC is a name given, the short way to write a name of a place. I cannot use it as an adjective and use it after the noun. I cannot use it. I have to use it before. I must use it before. All right, so I have HDC and then I have house. All right, so I know I have went a little over time today, and I hope I did not. I'm seeing Sabriki hands up. Yes, Sabriki, go ahead. Give me a question. Yes, the question. Yeah, just somewhere. Sabriki, just I'm trying to look at the window where you are signing. Just start over for me, please. All right. Remember the information about vowels, right? The and, right? So you want to know why I'm putting an? Right, yes. Very good. I know you would have going to ask me that question. And in that case, I want to explain that in another way for you, in another time. Okay? But it's best, it's just where, in terms of saying, because we can say AHC house, and I will take that correction. Instead of an HGC house, but A. But sometimes when we talk, we say an, right? So HGC house. But it is in the speech itself, when I'm speaking, it was easier to say an than a because of the sound of the H. Okay? Thank you, Sabriki. So this is the correct way to say a house, HGC house. All right. Any other question? Sabriki, you have another question? You understand? Yes, Sabriki, you have another question? Everything? Yes, Rebecca. I'm seeing Rebecca hand waving. Yes, Rebecca. The house is, now we cannot say the house is HGC. If we sign it and dramatizing it in sign language, we can dramatize it like that, but we can't say the house is HGC. That means we're saying this house. If you write it like that, like this one, I'm going to put it A and B. If you say A, the house is HGC, you are telling me that this house is HDC. That is the company. That is where the company is. This is HDC. So HDC moved from Port of Spain, and it is in this old small house right now. So that is what you are saying if you say the house is HDC. So that will be the meaning of that sentence, but that is not really what you want to say. What you want to say is that this house is really a house built by HDC, so it belonged to them until I finish pay for it. It becomes mine. All right? So you cannot say the house is HDC in that sentence. Yes, Sabriki. Go ahead, Sabriki. You have a question? I see a hand going up. How many rules it have in sentences? Sabriki, rules there may be, in terms of rules and sentences, there are many rules to write different types of sentences. And that is why, just now, you want to break it, I'm repeating your question. How many rules are there in sentences, making sentences? There could be many ways. There are many ways of writing sentences, many. And I cannot count the rules. I cannot count the rules. The same way there are many ways of writing sentences, there are many ways a person who sign language can express themselves. And you will notice that if you see an interpreter listening to English and signing for you, one interpreter will sign the same thing, the signing or the meaning will be the same, but they say it in a different way. They sign it in a different way, right? So, and English have many more ways, many more words putting together. So English is not a very easy language to learn if you do not know it from birth. You have never heard it and you are learning it. That is why it takes a lot of time for anybody, whether it's a deaf person or a person knowing another language, learning English. So people in Trinidad from Venezuela who come to Trinidad and they have to learn English. They have to learn a new way of saying English words and knowing meanings and putting words because it's a different language. Just as Spanish is a different language, sign language is a different language. It's a different way you're going to say things and do things to make meaning. So that is why you have to take your time and practice. Take your time and learn it step by step. And how you're going to learn it quickly. And I have been telling all the learners of English in every one of the classes, you must read. You have to read. Try and read books. And what you choose to read, I know it is a challenge. Try to read simple books. Simple books. Try to read vocabulary. Any word that you do not know, any word that if somebody say and you never heard it before, take it and go and go on the internet. And I'm so appreciative of how you all are looking at what I'm doing and you are linking the words. Go and find the words. Go and search on the internet. See if you can find a sentence with it on the internet. It's easier to find sentences with new words than you just go in and read a book. You may not get that same word, right? So take your time, be patient. Be patient. When you see an interpreter, interpreting for you something from English, and sometimes even on the news, then hopefully you could get caption at the bottom. Look at what the interpreter is signing and look at the caption, the words that are going across the screen. You could stop and freeze. So sometimes you're looking at a movie, all right, and you're seeing words going across the screen. Don't only looking, all right, so you could try and see if you could pull out some words. So at least one every day, try and learn a new word, a new vocabulary word in English. Or take the newspaper, pull out from the headlines, from the front page, pull out words. Pull out and find out what a word means. How can I use that word? Look at it, the word in a sentence in one of the things that are written. Pull it out, write over the sentence, see how to, because that word might be important if you're talking about something related to COVID or something related to health that you need to do in order to protect yourself. Pull out the word. All right, but be patient with it. But starting from where we are in this basic English class, What I'm showing you is to write how to utilize these words. And I don't want to give you the complex sentences one time. I'm trying to go slowly. Although I am happy for the challenges that you are giving me. I'm trying to go slowly with you. So I want to show you the simple sentences. The simple sentences is where we started off. The simple sentences, and where we start a simple sentence, and as I told you last week, we start with the simple ones. So when I start with the simple ones, then I'm going to add. We're going to be building, like a building a house. You don't start with the roof where it finish, all right, and you start painting. No, you have to start with the foundation. The foundation is for you to understand all these parts of speech and learn what it is all about. What is an adjective? What is a noun? You need to know what it is, these things, and it's starting small, it's starting slowly, and then you're building and building. So eventually when you reach level 2 and we're going up and up, you are building your ability to understand and create these sentences. So every level there's a different type of sentence I want to show you, so that eventually you will learn. But because you have most of you all went to school already, and you all were exposed to a variety of sentences, right? So you have your knowledge of a whole lot of things, and sometimes these things are kind of confusing. So when I'm teaching now, you're going to ask me questions. I don't want to not answer you. I want to answer your questions. But when I answer it now, I might have to go in another level in terms of these sentences. But I don't want to confuse you there. Are you all understanding? Okay, Sabriki, anybody else have a question for me? Donna, are you okay? Avril, is Avril there? I'm not, yes, I'm seeing Avril. Avril, are you understanding me? And any question, Avril? Okay, and I really want to say, I got some really good sentences, the simple ones that I gave you, and we need to close up the class now, so I'm just going to give you, and my interpreter is asking for more, but I will not listen to him at all. And for home lesson, I want you to continue. We're going to I just want you to collect some adjectives. See if you could find them wherever you can find them. And before I was telling you to look at home, I want you to look at television. And collect means to make a list. Make a list. And I just want you to get one, let me say collect. I just want you to get one thing, one noun. So I want you to, if it's a picture, get one noun. Get one noun. And I don't want you to get one, just collect adjective just so. Just find any noun around you, whether it is on the television or whatever. But with that noun, I want you to try and find at least 5 adjectives. So you're going to find 5 adjectives for that noun that you get. 5 adjectives. So I want 5 for that noun. So you're making a list. So where they get a picture, right, to write the nouns. If it's a person, it could be an animal, it could be a place. So I want you to get a noun, and I want 5 adjectives. So all of these must be an adjective. So you're relating your adjectives. So that is a challenge for you. I know. Last time you only had to get 3 or 2, but this time I want 5 for now. So that is your homework today. And I want to say thank you for spending so long with us today. We already spent a long time today in class. And I hope it was a productive day. And I know everybody around me here really want me to go further, but we will stop now today. So see you tomorrow. We will see. We may have having our Bible study tomorrow at 5 o'clock. I know it's a holiday, but we are continuing with our Bible study at 5 tomorrow, and we will see you same time. Now, the same link that you used today for English class is the same link we're going to be using for all our online classes. So you don't need to be saying, send me the link. I will still send it, but that is the same link we're going to use for Bible study, church, level 1, level 2. So you don't have a problem to be searching to find a link. So it will be the same link I'm going to use all the time. Okay? So I want to say goodbye and have a good evening, everyone. Bye-bye.